Tonight is special. 3 hot pizzas, 3 cold doors, and a tip you cannot return. So buckle up and do not open if something knocks back.
My shift started at 6. By 6:05, I already wanted it to be over. It was cold, the oven was acting up, and the manager was yelling about coupons. Then the phone rang with an order nobody wanted. Extra large pepperoni, no cheese, out near the Quarry Road. The address had a long name, Edgeview. People at the shop called it the edge of town, like it was a cliff you fall off. Take it, my manager said, shoving the box at me. 30 minutes or it is free. I drove, headlights cut through fog that looked like wet cloth. That road turned to gravel, trees pressed close, thin and black like pencil lines. I kept telling myself it is just a house, it is just a pizza. I turned off the radio to listen for the GPS voice. The signal died. Of course it did. When I finally saw the house, it stood alone, huge and grey, shutters hanging like broken teeth. One light burned in an upstairs window. The wind made the porch swing creak, creak, creak. I felt like the house was breathing. I parked. I carried the box up the steps. The boards flexed under my boots. I knocked. The door opened by itself. It drifted back like somebody had pulled a string from inside. "Hello," I called. "Pizza here?" A woman stood in the hall. She was thin, her skin was pale, her hair was a dull, heavy black. She wore a long dress, the kind you see in old photos. She did not smile, she did not blink. She looked at me and said very softly, "You are late." "It's been 26 minutes," I said, trying to make a joke, still hot and fresh. She tilted her head like she was listening to something in the walls. From the ceiling above us, I heard footsteps, small, fast, like someone running in loops, or many someones. The sound went left, right, left, then stopped, and then suddenly it was behind me. I spun, nobody there. The woman watched me, her face didn't change. "Price is $22.30, I said. "Cash or card?" "Leave it," she whispered. "Leave it and go." She didn't reach for a wallet. She didn't move closer. She kept looking past me at the door, at the night outside, like she wanted me out, like the cold air was safer than this warm, dim hallway. Another sound came from upstairs. A giggle this time, then another. A whisper that sounded like her voice, except it was doubled and tripled, the same words said slightly out of sync. "Don't look upstairs," the woman said. Her whisper felt heavy. "Please." I stepped backward, but my eyes were already climbing those stairs. I couldn't help it. The steps were thick with dust except for a narrow, clean path up the middle. The carpet runner was the color of old wine. A shadow moved along the landing. It was fast. It wasn't mine. The woman said, "Leave it and go." But my feet carried me forward 2 steps. Instinctive, 3 steps. The pizza box was hot on my arm. I felt sweat under my jacket. Halfway up, I turned. "Ma'am, I need the..." The woman was gone? The hall was empty. The front door was still open. The swing outside creaked in the wind. The house hummed like a throat clearing. I heard someone whisper near my ear, "Hungry?" I looked back at the landing. 3 faces peered over the rail. They were the same face. The woman's face, pale, dark hair, eyes that didn't blink. They were stacked like a deck of cards, one above, one below, one in the middle, leaning, curious like children at a zoo. "Hey," I said. I don't know why I said it. I did not know what to do. I lifted the pizza box like a shield. Order for Edgeview. The topmost face smiled too wide. Teeth and gums, Then it giggled in three voices at once. I took another step. My body felt like someone else's. Don't. The three voices said together, not to me, to something in the ceiling. Is there someone else here? I opened the box. I don't know why I did that either. Habit, maybe. Show the customer the goods. The smell hit me. It wasn't pizza. It was copper and rot and old pennies and something sweet like syrup that had burned. In the box, resting on cooling grease, were teeth. A lot of teeth. Different sizes, some sharp, some flat, some gold, some baby blue with age. They were arranged in a circle like a white wreath. The three faces laughed again. The sound climbed the walls. I snapped the box shut. Okay, I said. This is a prank, I get it. My voice sounded small. Very funny. I'm leaving. A hand touched my shoulder from behind. Cold, delicate. I swung around. The woman was there again. She stepped so close I could see the pores on her nose, a tiny scar on her lip, the faint tremor in her left eyelid. She whispered. I said, leave it. Go. Her eyes flicked to the box, then to my face. They like the shiny ones. Shiny what? I asked. My mouth felt strange, thick. Teeth, she said. I laughed because I didn't know what else to do. Lady, I don't have smile, one of the faces upstairs sang. I felt my lips pull back against my will. My jaw opened. Cold air touched my gums. I lifted my hand to my mouth. My fingers trembled. I felt my teeth, except I didn't. My fingers slid over smooth gums like the inside of a cheek. No ridges, no edges, nothing to bite with, nothing to chew with. My tongue touched the front of my mouth and found only soft skin. I dropped the box, it hit the stairs, flipped, and spilled. Teeth tumbled like dice. The three faces shrieked in delight. Something scurried down the banister on too many hands. I ran. I didn't think. I stumbled through the open door and into the cold, and the air cut my throat. I made it to the car and slammed the door. I stared at myself in the rearview mirror. I saw the back seat. I saw the dark trees. I saw the open door and the porch swing, but I did not see my face. The mirror showed the car, the world, the house, the night. It did not show me. Where my head should be was a smear, a ripple, like heat above pavement. I touched my cheek. I was there. I felt stubble, skin, bone, but in the mirror, I was a whole. The woman stood on the porch. She put one finger to her lips. Shh. Behind her, the three faces leaned over the railing. Their eyes were wide and happy, like kids with a new toy. I started the engine with hands that didn't feel like mine. I drove without looking back. The mirror was empty of me the whole way. When I reached town, lights looked wrong. People glanced at my car and frowned, then looked away too fast. I parked behind the shop and sat very still. My manager opened the back door. Lose another tip? He asked, then his voice broke. What the... Are you okay? I'm fine, I said, but the words were wet and strange. I tried to smile. My gums stung. He stared at my face and then at the rear view. He swallowed. Go home. At home, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror. Nothing. Just the room behind me, the towel, the shower curtain, a blank where I should be. I didn't sleep. I kept hearing footsteps above my ceiling, fast and light and doubled. I kept tasting iron. By morning, my gums hurt less. The ache was fading. I cooked eggs and mashed them with a spoon. I swallowed them like soup. I tried to laugh. No sound came out. The house was quiet, but it felt like something had followed me. Some slow echo, some hungry idea. That night, I went back to work. I didn't want to, but I didn't know what else to do. I needed to be around people. I needed normal. Orders came and went. A couple of teenagers, a tired nurse, a party with too many cars. I kept my mouth closed. I kept my head down. Close to midnight, the phone rang again. My manager answered, then looked at me over the register. He held the receiver against his chest. "Edgeview," he said, "you feel like I drive." I felt my tongue press against my gum line, my empty gum line. I felt a cold finger trace the inside of my cheek from the other side of the mirror. I don't know how I knew that, but I did. The mirror world was crowded now, and it wanted me back. "Yeah," I said, "I'll take it." I drove the same road, the same fog, the same trees. The house was there, still breathing. The porch swing moved. The upstairs light burned like a low sun. I carried the box up the steps. I knocked. The door opened on its string. The woman stood in the hall. She looked the same, pale, still, not blinking. "You are on time this time," she said. I opened the box. Inside were teeth, arranged in a neat ring. In the center was a small velvet pouch tied with a black string. My fingers moved by themselves. I lifted the pouch. It was warm. The woman nodded at me, solemn, like a teacher when a student finally understands. "For you," she said. I untied the string. I poured the contents into my palm. The teeth inside were not like the others. They were mine. I knew, the way you know your own voice on a recording, the way you know your own walk down a hall. They glowed just a little, like seashells in a moonlight. "Take them," the woman whispered, "or leave them. If you take them, you'll always come back. If you leave them, you'll never find yourself again." Above us, the three faces watched, bright with anticipation. One of them whispered, "Choose." I put the teeth in my jacket pocket. The weight felt like a promise. I turned away. I walked back to my car. I checked the mirror before starting the engine. For a heartbeat, I saw myself. Tired eyes, pale skin, a mouth that could smile or scream. Then the reflection blinked and stayed behind. The mirror went empty again. The version of me in there lifted a hand and waved goodbye like a figure on a dark shore. I drove. I didn't look back. Now, every week, on the same night, I get the same call, Edgeview, the house at the edge of town. I bring the box. I take the pouch. I feel whole for a second. Then I leave half of me behind by accident. That's the deal. That's the hunger. Some houses eat money, some eat heat. This house eats reflections and teeth, and the names you say when you look yourself in the eye. People ask why I don't quit. I don't know how to explain it. You can't quit a mirror. You can't quit your own face. And when I smile, when I do let myself smile now, the teeth that show are never quite the same color. Some are borrowed, some are mine, some were once yours. It was my fourth delivery of the night. My legs were tired, my back hurt. The elevator in the old building was broken again, so I took the stairs. The pizza box balanced on my forearm. The hall was a tunnel of peeling paint and dim bulbs. A baby cried somewhere. A TV blared laughter with no joke in it. The order said 6B. I've been to a lot of apartments. You forget most of them. But sometimes your body remembers before your mind does. Your hand knows where the light switch is. Your feet know how many steps are there. Your breath changes at a door like it is about to say a name. I knocked. The door opened a crack. A little girl peered out. She had serious eyes and a gap in her teeth. She looked at the pizza box. She looked at my face. She whispered, "He is watching us." Your dad? I said, like a joke. I wanted her to smile. She didn't. A man's voice from behind. Put it on the counter. Okay, I said. Got change for a 20? Put it on the counter, the voice said again. Flat, no movement in it, like the voice was reading the line from a cue card. I stepped inside because that is what I do. I carry boxes into rooms, I set them down, I make change, I smile and say have a good night, and leave. That is it. The air in the apartment was damp and sour, the couch sagged, the TV was on a channel with nothing but white snow. Static, the kind that fizzes and hums. The man sat in a chair facing it. The light from the TV made his face look like it was underwater. Counter is this way, the girl said. She led me down the short hall. Her hand hovered above the hem of my jacket as if she might hold on. Rough night, I asked the man, trying again. He didn't answer. A woman's voice came from behind a closed door. It sounded tired. It said the girl's name gently, then stopped. At the kitchen counter, I set down the box. The smell of pepperoni and spice climbed into the room and tried to push away the damp. I reached into my pocket for the receipt, but my hand brushed something else. Cold metal, a small chain, a key. My fingers closed around the key like they knew it better than the pen. I held my breath. The key was thin and old. The top was shaped like a heart. The teeth were sharp, like it hadn't been used on a door, like it had been used on a box, or a lock on a journal, or a bracelet, or a stop. I shook my head. I took out the pen instead. Total is $15.70, I said. Cash okay? The TV hissed. The man said, put it on the counter. A third time, he didn't turn his head. He didn't blink. My chest felt tight. I looked around. The pictures on the wall were cheap prints. A fruit bowl, a lighthouse, a kid's drawing of a house with a sun and a cat. The drawing had 3 stick figures, one tall, one medium, one small. I stared at the cat. It had a long tail and big eyes, and a mouth too wide for its face. The kid had drawn a smile that didn't stop at the cheeks. It kept going, up and up, like the face could open all the way to the ears. Don't, the girl whispered. She stood at my elbow now. Please don't remember. What? I asked without looking at her. She said, when people remember, they get louder. I thought she meant the man, the TV, the baby down the line. I thought she meant the man, the TV, the baby down the hall. But she meant me. Because then something slid inside my head. It was like a door you forgot existed. And then one day your heel catches on a rug and the rug lifts and now you see the door. Small, hidden. You fit the heart-shaped key into it without being told. You turn. It clicks. In the reflection on the microwave door, I saw myself grin. I didn't feel my face move, but there it was in black glass. My mouth stretching a little too wide. I was breathing slow. I was very calm. I felt the world step back to make space for that calm. I know this apartment. I have been here before. It was a summer night then. The window was open. The apartment smelled like soap and tomato sauce and carpet cleaner. The girl had shorter hair then. The man had a different chair then. There was not yet a lock on the hallway door. Not yet a new chain, shiny, rattling when you touch it. The woman's voice behind the closed door said something again. It broke into a cough. Then silence. The girl's hand clutched my sleeve now. Please don't, she whispered. Please. The man said, put it on the counter and leave. As if the words were a spell he could cast to keep time from moving. As if he said them in the right order. The past would curl up and go to sleep. I opened the pizza box. Steam rose, pepperoni glistened. The smell filled my throat. The girl flinched and took a step back. The man's chair creaked. The TV hissed louder, like it wanted to drown the room. Tip jars tight tonight, I said. I heard my own voice like it was coming from the TV too. A flat, calm voice, a voice I know from other rooms, other halls, other nights when the elevator was broken. "Get out," the man said. He finally turned his head. His eyes met mine. Recognition flickered in them, then fear. He stood, his knees knocked the chair. It scraped on the floor. The key in my pocket felt heavy and happy. "Bathroom?" I said, nodding towards the hall. "I just need." "No, not possible," the man said. His voice cracked on that small word. He stepped between me and the hall. He wasn't big. He was tired. He was angry. He was shaking. "You get out of my home." A door opened down the hall. The woman came out. She looked thin and pale. She held a bottle of cough syrup. Her mouth opened, then shut. She saw my face. She saw the reflection in the microwave door. She froze. "Call someone," she said to the man. Not loud, not a shout, just a fact. "Call." I smiled at the girl. I crouched a little to be at her eye level. "What is your name again?" I asked gently. My voice is good at gentle. My face is good at smiling. She did not answer. She reached for my hand like she might take it, and then she didn't. She let her hand fall. "It is okay," I said. "I don't want to hurt you." Thing is, that sentence has always been true. I don't want to. Wanting is not the point. The point is the hunger that arrives when the key turns. It is not a hunger for food. It is a hunger for attention, for the tight silence in a room when everyone is listening, for the way time slows when a door closes and a lock snaps and a voice says, "Shh, get out." The man repeated. His voice shook. He moved closer. He lifted his hands, palms out, as if it heard me, as if I were a stray dog. My smile faded, not because I was scared, because I was bored with the play. We had performed it before. We all knew our lines. Only the girl stayed off script, whispering, please don't," like a broken prayer. The woman found her phone. Her thumb shook. I stepped to the counter and reached for the pizza cutter they had lying there next to a stack of mail. It was metal, round, shining. The microwave reflection caught it and made a thin line of light across my knuckles. "Sir," I said, pointing the cutter down, "let me cut this for you, then I'll go." "No," the man said. He grabbed my wrist. He was stronger than he looked. The girl gasped. The cutter wobbled. The woman said a number into the phone. The number sounded like help. I don't know exactly when the room tipped from tense to broken. Sometimes it is the smallest thing. A breath that comes too fast. A foot that slips. A voice that rises. It was the TV. The static popped and a face flickered inside it for a split second. My face. The too white smile, the calm eyes, and I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the world had the decency to show me a mirror right then, and I appreciated the timing. The man heard the laugh and lost something in himself. He shoved me. The cutter clanged on the tile. The girl screamed. The woman dropped the phone. It skittered under the table. I moved without thinking. I moved the way I move in tight spaces when the key has turned. Wrist out of his grip, shoulder low, elbow up. He stumbled. His arm hit the edge of the counter. Pain shot across his face. He cursed. He swung. I stepped back. I stepped forward. My hands found the places hands find. Wrist, shoulder, jaw. I didn't hit him. I didn't need to. He fell anyway. He hit the floor hard. The sound of his body on tile was a fat, wet drum. The girl ran towards him. I caught her by the forearm before I even knew I'd moved. My fingers wrapped around her small bones. She froze. She did not cry. Her mouth made a thin line. "Let go of her," the woman said. Her voice was very steady now. "Let go." I looked at the door. The new chain was bright, unbroken. The lock below it was new too. A heart-shaped hole waited on the chain latch. The key in my pocket felt hot. It wanted the hole. The hole wanted the key. I loosened my grip on the girl. "Okay," I said. "Okay." I let her step back. She stood beside her mother. They were both breathing fast. The man rolled and groaned. He wasn't badly hurt. He would have a bruise and a story, and a new kind of fear that lived under his tongue. I could have left. I could have walked out and let them hold each other and call for help. But the key turned inside me one more notch. It clicked like a clock hitting the top of the hour. I reached into my pocket, took out the key, and lifted up between two fingers, gentle like I was showing a coin to a child. The heart-shaped top gleamed. "Where did you get that?" the woman said. Not a question, a wound, a memory with a voice. I smiled. "You gave it to me," I said softly. The girl shook her head. "No." The man sat up. He stared at the key like it was a blade. Maybe he remembered the night with the old chain, the night the lock broke, the night the cops came late, and the neighbors kept their doors shut, and the pizza got cold on the counter while the three of them learned how small a room can be. I reached towards the door. The woman moved to block me. I did not push her. I did not touch her. I simply looked at her, steady, and she stepped aside because the human body knows a storm when it sees it. I slid the key into the heart-shaped hole. It fit smooth. I turned it. The chain tightened around its own post. The door clicked. The TV hissed. The room held its breath. Then I took the key out and put it on the counter. I turned and walked out. The girl cried once, a single sound like a bubble popping. The woman did not move. The man stared at my back. In the hall, I went down the stairs. I didn't look at anyone else's doors. I didn't listen for footsteps. Outside, the night air was cool and clean. I got into my car and sat for a long time. Why did I leave? Maybe because I am not a movie monster. Maybe because I like the game more than the end of the game. Maybe because part of the hunger is the leaving, the kindness you tell yourself you did, the mercy you pretend was yours to give. Back at the shop, the manager asked, "All good?" "Yeah," I said, "all good." I washed my hands. I looked at my face in the window over the sink. The glass showed me what it always shows me when the key has turned, a smile that looks almost right. Sometimes at night, I park near that building and watch the door to 6B. I watch the girl come home from school, the man carry groceries, the woman waiting on the landing with the mail in her hands, reading and rereading the same envelope like it might become a different letter if she just looks long enough. I never go in unless they order, and when I do, I always bring extra napkins. I am polite. I am quiet. I am the nicest thing that ever knocked on their door, and I am the reason they put a new lock on it. When I moved to this town, I thought the worst thing about being a delivery driver would be parking, or dogs, or drunk guys who argue about coupons. I was wrong. The worst thing is a house that orders the same pizza every night at the same time and never lets you be late. The motto at our shop is hot and fresh, never late. It is painted on the wall, bright red. The first week I worked there, it was a joke. We said it to each other in a mocking voice. Never late, like we were heroes. Like someone could die if pepperoni came at minute 31. On my 7th night, the ticket printed at 11:11 p.m. The slip fluttered out like a white tongue. Medium mushroom, no onions, extra oregano, address 144 Maple Street. I asked the manager if it was far. He said without looking at me, "You'll find it." It wasn't far, it felt far. The streetlights thinned. The houses grew old and hunched. When I turned onto Maple, I thought I'd gone the wrong way because the numbers on the mailboxes jumped from 98 to 202 with nothing between. I turned around. I tried the other end. Same thing, then I saw it. A small wooden sign hammered into the ground, hand-painted 144. The arrow pointed down a narrow lane that looked like a driveway but wasn't. I took it. Trees bent over the lane, branches scraped the roof. My headlights found a house at the end. 2 stories, boards on the windows, a porch with a sagging roof. The porch light clicked on as I pulled up. That porch light felt like an eye opening. A woman opened the door before I knocked. She was in her 40s maybe, hair in a tight bun, wearing an apron that might have been white once. She smiled like smiling took effort. She said, "Right on time." "Medium mushroom," I said, holding out the box. She took it with both hands. "Thank you," she whispered, as if we were in a library. She handed me cash. It was exact, plus $6.66. I almost laughed. I didn't. "Do you need change?" I asked. "No," she said. "Please come again tomorrow." "I don't schedule routes," I said. "It depends on the night." "Please," she said, not begging, not threatening, just firm. "Come again tomorrow, same time." I nodded because it felt easier than not nodding. I walked back to the car. As I opened the door, I thought I felt the ground hum a little, like a refrigerator turning on. I told myself it was the engine cooling. The next night, 11:11 p.m., the ticket printed, "Medium mushroom, no onions, extra oregano, 144 maple." I didn't tell anyone, I just took it. The porch light clicked on when I parked. The woman opened the door as if she had been standing right behind it since yesterday. "I liked this. It was easier. It is much easier than going to different houses." I said, "It is good. Ordering or delivering pizza, same place. It is easy." "Right on time," she said. "Thank you. Same exact tip." I tried to joke about it. "Devil's change," I said. She didn't smile. On the third night, curiosity grew teeth. When she took the box, I asked, "Why do you always order the same thing?" She said, "Because it smells like a garden. Gardens are calm." "Okay," I said. "And the time?" "If it is ever late," she said, and her eyes flicked towards the dark inside of the room. "He wakes up." "He?" I asked like an idiot. "Who is he?" She closed the door gently. On the 4th night, I hit a red light on Oak, a long red light. I watched the seconds tick and felt my chest get tight. It was ridiculous. It was just a pizza, but the red seemed to stretch. When it turned green, I drove too fast. I reached Maple at 11:08. I parked and ran to the porch. The porch light clicked on late. The woman opened the door slower. Her hands shook as she took the box. "Thank you," she whispered. "You are early. That is fine. That is fine." She said it twice like she wanted to make it true. On the 8th night, the oven broke. We got backed up 30 orders deep. I watched the screen and watched the clock. When the mushrooms finally hit the deck, when the timer beeped, I grabbed the box and ran as fast as I could. It was 11:20 when I hit Maple. My throat was dry. My palms were wet. This was stupid, but the gravel under my tires felt like a drum roll. The porch light was off. I carried the box to the door. I knocked. No answer. "Hello?" I called. "Pizza?" From inside, a noise. A chain being slid back. A deadbolt. Another lock. The door opened an inch. The woman's face peered out. Her eyes were red. "You are late," she said, not angry, afraid. "I'm sorry," I said. "Oven died." "It is okay," she said, even though it wasn't. "It is okay." She took the box, and the moment she did, the floorboards under my feet shivered. The house made a sound like a whale song played too soft to hear. The hair on my arms stood up. She shut the door. I stood on the porch because my legs didn't want to move. I heard footsteps inside, slow, heavy, the kind of slow that is not lazy, the kind that is deliberate. I heard the woman whisper, "No," and then louder, "No," and then the footsteps stopped. I left the porch without turning my back on the door. The next day, I asked the manager who lived at 144 Maple. He shrugged. "What is Maple?" On the 10th night, I told myself I wouldn't take the order. Regardless of it being easy, someone else could do it. I need a change. The ticket printed at 11:11 anyway, and my hand picked it up. I didn't look at my hand, I just moved, like the path was laid, and I was a bead on a string. The woman opened the door before I knocked. "Right on time," she said. She looked tired. Under the porch light, I saw that her apron was stitched with small symbols along the hem. Circles, lines, a square with a slash through it. "Thank you." "What happens if I don't come? I do not want to come." I asked, I said. The words surprised me. They jumped out like a cat. She flinched. She held the box tighter. "Please don't test it." "Who is he?" I asked. She looked at me for a long time, scared. Then she said, "He used to be a room. But rooms grow hungry, you know, if you feed them grief." "I don't know what that means," I said. "You will," she said. "If you are ever late again, don't be late." On the 12th night, I overslept before my shift. I rushed into the shop. The ovens were hot. The air smelled like flour and sweat. I ran tickets, folded boxes, wiped the cut table, and still, when the 11:11 order printed, I felt a minute slip out of my pocket like a coin. I made it to the porch at 11:14. The light was off. The house loomed against a black sky with no stars. The woman opened the door. She was crying. Now, not loud, tears ran without a sound. "It is too late," she said. Inside the house, something moved. Not footsteps, not a person, a shift in the shape of a space. The floor tilted half a degree. The ceiling bent. The air pushed against my face like a gentle hand. The pizza box in her arms shook. "Take it," I said. "Please." "I can't stop him now," she whispered. She stepped back. She held the box like an offering. From the dark, another shape unfolded. Imagine a closet you've been afraid to open. Imagine the fear stepping out and filling the hallway. That's what it looked like. No edges, no color, just weight. My legs wanted to run. The path to my car had become long, like someone stretched it. I took a step. I took another. The porch boards groaned, and the groan repeated under my feet, even when I had stopped moving, like an echo that didn't care where the sound started. "Come again tomorrow," the woman said. Wise horse, as I backed down the steps. "This time, please," I beg. "Don't be late." I drove. The lane felt longer. Branches leaned so low I had to duck inside my car. When I reached the street, all the lights were red. I didn't see another car. I drove through them anyway. My heart was a small animal in my throat, scratching. At home, I couldn't sleep. I left the TV on static and stared at it until dawn. In the white snow, I thought I saw a room move like a chest breathing. The next nights blurred. I started showing up at 144 Maple at 11:09, then 11:08, then 11:07. The woman started waiting on the porch, apron stitched, hands folded. "Right on time," she said. "Thank you, happy." I stopped asking questions. I just came. I do not know why. This was a loop, or I do not know what this is. The world changed around the routine. People at the shop stopped saying my name. They called me the driver. "Oh, hey." I'd wave at a coworker and feel my hand pass through a patch of air that was a little colder than the rest. I checked a map and Maple Street wasn't on it anymore, but my car knew the turns anyway. One night, a new kid at the shop grabbed the ticket first. "I'll take Maple," he said. My stomach dropped so low I had to grab the counter. No, I said. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't need to. He kept smiling until he looked at me in the eyes. Then he put the slip down. I made it at 11:10 this time. The porch light burned brighter than usual, like it had been fed. The woman took the box and said, "Thank you," and added, very soft, "I am sorry." "For what?" I asked. "For choosing you," she said. Wind moved through the trees like a big animal turning over. Did I have a choice? I asked. She looked past me towards the lane where the dark was thicker. "You still do have a choice," she said. "You can be on time or not. This is the choice. And if I stop, then everything stops. Then he wakes up all the way. Then the town learns what a hungry room can do." I swallowed, "And if I keep coming?" "You will keep the lid on," she said, patting the box like you pat on a sleeping dog, "for as long as you can carry it." On the 20th night, my tire blew on oak. I leaned on the horn until the world went thin and sharp. I changed the tire with hands that didn't feel like mine. I reached the house at 11:16. The porch light was off. The door stood open. I heard the woman praying in a language made of breath and the sounds. I do not know what those were or what they were. My feet didn't touch the steps. The house shifted around me, making space, then not. A pressure in my ears, like being underwater. I found her in the hall, kneeling. The box open in front of her, steam rose. She looked up and saw me, and she smiled like a person who has been found at the bottom of a well. She pressed her palms together. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you." "Am I?" I started. "In time," she said. "Enough." I left without turning my back. That became the rule. Now I don't check the clock anymore. My bones know when 11:11 is near. My legs feel an ache that means go. The lane seems shorter if I breathe a certain way. The porch light flickers if I think the right thought. I can't tell you why a pizza keeps a room asleep. Maybe it is the heat. Maybe it is the ritual. Maybe it is the way yeast rises like a small sun and then collapses, and something old likes that story. Maybe the woman stitched those symbols on her apron for a reason. Maybe the oregano smells like a garden, and gardens are calm. Some nights, after I deliver, I sit in my car with the engine off and listen. I hear the house settle. I hear the lane breathe. I hear a faint sound like a huge hand sliding down a wall. "Patient," I whisper. "Sleep, because I am part of the ritual now, and rituals need words." I asked the woman once that what happens after me. She said, "There will be another driver. There always is." "Does he get to choose?" I asked. She looked at me with tired kindness. "He will think he did." So I keep coming. I keep the motto, hot and fresh, never late. The words used to be a joke. Now they are a prayer I say with my tires on gravel and my breath in fog and my hands on a warm box that smells like a garden. For the sake of the town, I have to be on time. If you ever get an order for 144 Maple at 11:11, give it to me, please. Go clean the oven, go fold boxes, go anywhere else. Because if you go instead, if you get lost, if you hit a red light and think it is just a pizza, you might teach this town what late really means. And I am too tired to start this prayer over with someone new. So please, sleep. Let me take the order to 144 Maple at 11:11.
Viewers, wouldn't you be cautious to order pizza again? Anyways, if you liked this video, subscribe the channel for weekly horror videos and sleep with your eyes wide open.